Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan have a very busy week ahead of them, campaigning in several battleground states. Today, Romney will take his bus tour on a swing through Florida, while his new running mate will campaign in Iowa. On the same day, President Obama kicks off a bus tour through that state. Joining us from Washington is Steve Chaggaris, executive Washington editor for CBSNews.com. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning.
When you think about Paul Ryan, a couple things come to mind. One, a master of federal spending in the federal budget. The other word that may come to mind is Medicare. Beyond that, though, what do we know about him?
Well, nationally, people don't know that much about him, and that's actually a good thing for Romney and could cut both ways, though. I mean, it gives Romney an opportunity to sort of redefine his campaign and sort of refocus his campaign, but it also gives Democrats an opportunity to sort of define Romney, too. We know that Ryan has been a congressman for about 14 years, really focused on the budget the last few years as the House Budget Chairman, and I think he's had some controversial positions on Medicare and cutting spending, federal spending, and I think you'll see Democrats really going after him on that stuff.
There's a bit of a debate of how important a running mate is in the long term. In the case of Romney, what does Paul Ryan do for his campaign?
Well, he brings a couple of things to the campaign. First of all, this is a guy who is well loved by conservatives, and that's not something that Mitt Romney could say that he was doing himself. And so bringing in a guy like Ryan not only is going to bring Republicans, conservatives to be more excited about this ticket, but I think you're going to see conservatives out there volunteering a lot more. The crowds are larger. I know they're trying to see Ryan for the first time, but fundraising is also up in the last couple of days, so there's definitely excitement there.
Democrats seem to be happy about this move, too. Why?
Well, again, Paul Ryan is a guy who's been in office for 14 years. He's well known in Washington, inside the Beltway, and Democrats have sparred with him over the last few years over his budget ideas. And they think they have a winning argument, especially on Medicare, which Ryan wants to change significantly. They think that in Florida and Iowa, states that have large senior populations, they can really hit Ryan and Romney on that, and hopefully bring, they think, hopefully bring seniors to their side.
Romney campaign already raised $5 million since this announcement was made. Put that in perspective for us, Steve. Is that a really big deal at this point?
I mean, what it shows you is that people are very, very excited about the Ryan pick, at least Republicans and conservatives and folks who are donating to the Romney campaign. There's been sort of, I guess you could say that Romney was sort of on autopilot the last few weeks. People were concerned. Conservatives were out there basically complaining about the direction of the campaign. So bringing a guy like Ryan and somebody who's well loved by the right and Republicans and conservatives, this is really bringing a lot of excitement to the campaign. I think you're seeing that in the fundraising numbers over the weekend.
Ryan had that proposed plan on the overhaul of Medicare. What does that do? How does that affect the Romney campaign later on?
Well, I think what it does is it opens up the debate and it opens up criticism from Democrats especially. Anytime you touch that third rail of entitlements, Medicare, Social Security, what winds up happening, it brings the issue to the forefront. You're going to hear a lot of criticism from Democrats, and I think what you're going to hear is them talking specifically to seniors in states like Florida, Iowa, states they're going to this week, and criticizing Ryan and Romney for wanting to change and accusing them of wanting to cut Medicare.
Does that also threaten older voters, which, as we saw in a recent poll, that's actually a pretty big support base for Romney right now?
It is, and that's why the Democrats are fairly happy about this Ryan pick, because one of the biggest issues about Ryan's budgets over the last few years has been this Medicare issue, and now they can pin it on Romney and hopefully take away some of that senior support.
In that recent Quinnipiac CBS News New York Times poll, it showed President Obama over Mitt Romney in the state of Wisconsin by 6 points. With Ryan in play now, does that change the table a bit?
Well, that's always the question when you pick a vice presidential running mate. You know, are they going to have an effect in terms of geography? They hope they will. But keep in mind, Ryan has been elected to one district in that state. He's not a statewide, he's never represented the state statewide. He is a Wisconsin guy through and through, born, raised there. It'll be interesting to see what kind of effect that has, but there's no guarantee that's going to be the case.
All right, we'll have to see what happens. Steve Chaggaris, executive Washington editor for CBSNews.com. Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you.